Hello friends, welcome to our channel Creating Essence. I am Megan and thank you for stopping by today. I have had a lot of fun over on Instagram posting in my stories asking you all about your assumptions about me. I'm kind of someone who bucks the trends. I don't really typically go with these kinds of, the popular thing at the moment. I see them a lot. I love watching them. It's really fun and oftentimes funny to get to know people a little bit better, but it was not something I was really interested in doing for myself, but a lot of people asked me about it. And then my husband went to a men's breakfast at church and had a great time chatting with some friends we hadn't seen in a while and got to know people better that he didn't really know. And it struck us both as really funny how there really are a lot of assumptions about our family, and it just gave us a chuckle. And I thought, why not? Give it a chance. I'd go ahead and do this just to see if all of you, my friends out there on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, sort of had these same assumptions. So I put the call up on my Instagram asking you all to let me know what your assumptions were about me. And here I am to read them and answer them. Someone said, I assume you are very self-motivated. Yes and no. In all honesty, a lot of what we do out of necessity. We do live a sort of alternative lifestyle on our suburban homestead, homeschooling, large family. All of that has come about by necessity. When I want to do something, I'm really determined. And regardless of the reason. So I guess in that regard, I see it more as having a really good work ethic. I will do what it takes to do what needs to be done because it needs to be done. And if I see it as valuable, I do it. So perhaps in that way I am. Another person said, you are a type A personality that has had to adapt with motherhood. Yes. Yep. I would say that's pretty true. My type A personality, I've had ever since childhood. I kind of have been one of those people who wants to plan everything and make all the lists. I mean, even before planners were a thing, when I was in high school, I had a very bare bones, I believe it was something like Mead or 5-star back then, day planners that business people used for their meetings because I wanted to keep everything in order. And I always I've dealt with like anxiety since I was a kid, and I felt like if I could plan things and keep track of things and basically control everything possible in my life, that there was less of a chance that bad things could happen. And I kind of have continued that into adulthood. In motherhood, I still kind of am the same, but I've learned you have to be flexible, and kids' needs are kids' needs when they have them. I have definitely become someone who has become more accustomed to having a rhythm rather than a schedule, and my to-do list is more goals and best intentions. And if they happen, they happen. Great. But I still love my planners, and I'm super excited that planners are a thing now, so they are prettier and more fun. Here's one from my husband that I will not read aloud. You're welcome. Another person said their assumption is that you're awesome. Seriously though, you are a selfless, awesome mama. Thank you. That is super duper sweet, and I truly appreciate your kind words. My knee-jerk reaction is that that's wrong. I know exactly how much I fail in every single day. And I know that an awesome mama is not one that is without failure. I definitely have my struggles, and they are far more frequent than I would like. There's always room for improvement, and when I lose my temper, or when I say something unkind, when I do something that I really should have done differently, it's an opportunity to show my kids that I am imperfect as well, and I can apologize as well. Another person's assumption is, I've never asked, but I've always assumed you practice positive discipline like us. That is pretty true. Pretty true. We've been asked a lot about discipline, and in general, I don't have a blanket method or statement because we do what works best for each child. With our oldest, she was so tender-hearted that a stern word was all it took to crush her little soul and get instant results. And with our second, for a very long time, nothing could get through, no matter what we tried. I made a really heartfelt blog about a year ago about kind of what led us to our parenting style. I will link it in the info box below in case you all would like to read it. We focus more not on instant obedience, because if all you do is train a child to obey you, then they will always be looking for someone to obey. We aim to teach our kids what is right and why it's right and why that's worth doing, because we want them to make the right choices because they're the right thing to do, not because they're afraid of discipline. We do discipline. We discipline in so many different ways. It depends on the child and the instance. In general, we focus on, number one, catching them being good, because it's so easy as a mom, especially with so many, to find yourself spending all day just correcting people, like, don't do that, get off there, that's dangerous, what are you doing? And correcting everyone. It can build a really negative spirit in your home. And that's not what I want for my family. I read a book many years ago, and the mother has 19 children. She said that she aims to praise her children for doing the right things 10 times more than she has to correct them in a day. And that was profound to me. Even if it's the slightest thing. I mean, we are not without behavior problems. We have a couple of children, but one in particular, who really, really struggles with impulse control. And I could spend all day correcting that child. But even if it's something as simple as, thank you so much for scooching over so your brother could sit down. Oh, I saw you did this. That was really kind. Thank you so much. Things of that nature. When they're angry, a lot of times with little kids, you can see like they want to hit. They're like, ugh. And when they're angry, and you can be like, you know what? I can tell you want to hit right now. And I am so proud of you for choosing not to. You did a great job. And just affirming kids and their good choices, no matter how minute sometimes. We focus on that, and then we focus on natural consequences. Why do we choose this? Why is this a family rule? Because this could happen if not. And that's just kind of our approach to things. But we are very strict, and I know those things don't seem to go hand in hand, but in our family they do. We have specific rules. We have them for a reason, and we work on making the right choice because it's the right thing to do, and the right thing is worth doing. Another assumption is you know tons about gardening. I would like to say that's true. I would like to, but the fact of the matter is it isn't. Not even close. I am learning through experience. I work really hard. I do tons of research, and then I see what works for us. And if that is helpful to other people, awesome. I'm really glad to share. But truly, I don't actually know a lot. Another assumption is I assume you're a crunchy mama. That's pretty true. That is pretty true. We aim to live what I guess kind of is holistically. We eat with as few preservatives and dyes as possible because we know that unprocessed food fuels our bodies better. When there's an illness or an injury, we very much still are happy to use the mainstream medical system when it's necessary, but we do look to do things naturally first because we feel that pharmaceuticals and different things are drastically overused, and that tends to lead to a system where things actually don't work as well when you need them because things become tolerant to the medical way of dealing with things. So if you can deal with things differently first and it's successful, great. But we certainly don't put our children, you know, in harm's way. We absolutely put our kids on antibiotics, and but we do wait until those things are truly medically warranted, and we try other things first to see if we can help their bodies naturally fight things. And then there's the whole, you know, gardening, clothesline, cloth diapers, breastfeeding, baby wearing. Yeah, I pretty much fit those stereotypes pretty well. Another assumption is you could drop some serious coin at the craft store. It's true. I don't talk about it too much here, but I am a professional knitter. I have quite a few published patterns. I am a professional seamstress. Yeah, there's a chance that I spent $170 on fabric at an online fabric store earlier this week. But spring wardrobes, guys. Another assumption is I assume only the best, of course. Thank you. Another assumption is I assume that you're an incredible mama and a great cook, and I'm 100% sure that I'm correct. Thank you so much. I appreciate your kind words and your encouragement about my parenting. I am a mama who tries hard. I am a mama who tries hard. That is true. A great cook? Guys, I mean, when I got this one, I messaged the friend that I have that I've known the absolute longest, and I chuckled, and I was like, people think this about me a lot. Why? And she said, I think you are a better cook than you realize you are, just because other people haven't dealt with what you have dealt with, so they don't know how to do the things that used to be pretty basic that you know how to do out of necessity. And I'd say that's pretty true. That's pretty true. Kids with allergies, my health struggles, really tight budget. I have had to learn how to do a lot with very little. I watched a lot of Food Network when my littles were really little, and I was just doing a lot of sitting and playing and breastfeeding and taking care of little kids and rocking a baby boy who cried for hours on end every single day. So I saw a lot actually on Food Network of like suggestions. I learned a lot about what different things are used for, how people use them, what kind of flavor profile they're said to have, that sort of thing. But I'm not really good at following instruction. I just have learned how to use certain things a lot of different ways. So that's what I do. If that makes me a great cook, then awesome. That's good. And assumption is I would assume you live very frugally. That is pretty true. Josh and I have mentioned at times that we both came from very low income families, and we lived very, very low income and struggled greatly for many years, up until probably 5 years ago. We have learned how to do with very little, and that is a blessing, because I see so many people around me who they don't have that life experience, and that's not to put them down. It could really serve a lot of people to know how to do with a lot less. We definitely are very, very careful with our money in certain areas, but are grateful that we can choose to not be frugal at all in other areas. And the last assumption is I would assume you take some kind of magic fairy dust to grow that mermaid hair. I don't. I am really blessed with amazing hair genes. I treat it like crap. I use Suave or Tresemme for my shampoo and conditioner. I use a cheap leave-in conditioner, and I don't even put the money into color treating it. Ever. So, I'm sorry I do not have a source for magical fairy dust pills that I can share with you. And that is it for the assumptions. Thank you so much, all of you who put those out there on Instagram. This was a lot of fun to do, and It was really encouraging to see all the wonderful things that people had to share that they perceived about me. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this, or not so much like this. Bye, friends.